Okay. No. Okay, this looks fine. Hello, hi everyone. This is Anjali. You have seen me before. Hi, Seem. Someone called Insta Seema. I'm pretty sure your name is Seema. Hi, Seema. We've been here before. Thank you so much for joining right in the nick of time. We are going live with Michelle today, and as you all know, we have tried it on Facebook before this and never succeeded in the first go. So today, we decided we'll do it on Instagram because all hail Facebook. Facebook has removed the feature to invite your guests, and here we are. Anyway, since 6 of you are here by now, I would like to know how you're doing. As you can see, I'm having a bad hair day. I mean, I've tried my best to somehow control these baby hair, but it's not happening. Hi, Kusum. Thank you so much again for being here. You have seen me make bad jokes before. My name is Anjali, and otherwise I'm responsible for handling content in Fuchsia. But here I am talking to you because I feel being here like this establishes a different connection, and I would very much like to engage with you at that level. Thank you so much, everyone who's here right now. So tell me, how are you all doing? Hi, Pragya. As far as updates in my life is concerned, I am recovering from a terrible, terrible period of cold and fever. And there were times when I sounded like a frog version of myself. Also, I joined a Facebook group today called, this is a group where we pretend to be ants in an ants colony. So I'm very excited as to what's going to happen. So for today, we have Michelle with us. Apart from being my Facebook friend for 2 months now, kudos. An internationally renowned TEDx speaker, being a life coach, and being someone who not only battled breast cancer, today is also inspiring people in real time. Welcome, Michelle. Everyone, please, please give her a huge round of virtual applause. Please, that's how you do it. Everyone, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I feel so fortunate that we were able to pull this through in the first go. I remember every other live session of ours has been, I'm sending you the request, why can't you see it? Oh, I can't see it. And then we've had to switch platforms.
Yeah, this one, it immediately said, ask to join. It's like, wow, it worked.
Oh, yeah. So, Michelle, how are you doing today? I have been hearing about the volcano eruption. And I mean, please just let us know if there's any way we could help. We are a community here. So if there's any way we could mobilize people, we would be happy to do it.
Thank you so much. Right now, we're just waiting to see what's going on out there.
Yeah, I can understand. So, folks who have joined us for the first time, you know how, I'm not sure if you know how this works. We will also take in your questions as we go along. The topic for today is the importance of a candid conversation and how to converse in an honest manner, also without being rude, and to, you know, walk that very thin line of being able to say what you want without hurting people. So, Michelle, right off the bat, I would just like to, I think let's start on a more personal note to also understand why it's important to be honest in personal relationships per se, you know, especially in intimate relationships, be it with your siblings, be it with your romantic partner.
Honesty is the best policy, really. It's why
Yeah.
would you want to start or be in a relationship where they don't know who you are? And that's how so many of us get into relationships or are in situations where we're not happy because we weren't who we were supposed to be in the first place. So we were projecting what we thought the other person wanted from us. And then we don't, they don't fulfill my needs, or when they talk to me, they don't talk to me. And you get depressed and you're upset.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is when you're unauthentic, when you're pretending to be someone else, you're getting the feedback of that pretend person you've been doing. Now, if you are authentically yourself, you would get the response that your soul needs, that your body needs. So that's why it's so
Yeah.
important to be honest, because it's who you are. You're what you crave is what the real person is inside of you. So it's important to be authentic, and it's different. There's a fine line between authentic and being rude. Okay, so the word I like to use is candor, and that's the being very honest with your expression. So I always say be candid, but you have to be careful with that because some people take the word candid as be rude. And that's not it. It's
Yeah.
being honest with your feelings and being able to express them with empathy and compassion, so that you read the other person as, okay, I want to hear this, or I want to share this without hurting the other human. So, yeah, you have to be honest to yourself first. Okay, so that's it. It all starts in here.
Yeah,
Who are
I
you?
absolutely agree. I mean, for those of you who were also there in our last live session, we spoke about finding your true self. And even in those conversations, honesty was the key, because you had to be close to your authentic self in order to also establish relationships which were true, which were also significant, you know.
Yes.
And since we are talking about relationships, this is a question which came up time and again, even as we were discussing it in the team, how to have an honest conversation with your boss. And I think this is something that people are dying to listen to.
Well, it goes the same with relationships. One, you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, so usually when you're
Yeah.
having a conversation with a boss, it's about a workplace situation, right? Something, your performance or whatever. First, you have to be honest with yourself. Are you doing your best? Are you performing to the level that you really can be? And then when you're addressing your boss and they're talking to you about your performance, if they're downgrading you or whatever, you have to be able to willingly listen, honestly open your ears and listen, not go in there and do, no, 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 I'm not like that. No, no, no. It doesn't work that way. You have to be
Yeah.
honestly to yourself, listen to what they're saying, and then be able to say, knowing yourself well enough, doing, am I performing to the level that I should? And then you can tell honestly to your boss, you know I can do better, that kind of thing. But if you're
Right.
unsure of who you are, and then you're always on the defense with the boss, then you have problems. So know yourself before you start talking back with the boss, because your job is at stake, right?
Yeah.
So something I would also suggest is you've got to be very careful with how honest you are at a workplace, because if your boss is not receptive to open conversation, so you need to know the other person. It's all about relationships, right? And someone posted on the Instagram, the Fuzia World Instagram, if you don't know someone, how can you be honest with them? Well, with your
Yeah.
boss, how well do you know that boss? You know? And then
Yeah.
when you confront them, you want to be in private. You want to say, boss, the other day when you said that, I was wondering, would you like to hear my opinion on that? And if they say, yes, I'd like to hear your opinion, say, I was wondering if this could happen because this is how I see it working over here. And they'll do, oh, thank you, right? But if you're in a meeting
True.
and you do, excuse me, boss, no, that doesn't work that way. Well, then you
Yeah.
embarrass them, and the first thing they do is shut you down. So you have to be very careful on how your honesty comes out. You need to be honest and candid in private. Be
Yeah.
very respectful in public,
Of course.
right?
So, would you also say that time and place then are also very, very important? Because,
Majorly.
because I mean, a meeting is not the right place to have a conversation, which is better off in a private setting. But since we are talking about honesty and communication, the first thing that actually came to my mind was, when we are actually saying have candid conversations, we often think about conversations which are, maybe uncomfortable, which have a slightly negative undertone to them. But then I also realized that to be able to also express love, really, is also an honest conversation. I'll give an example from my personal life. So my partner currently, we have been it's a relationship that I haven't experienced so far. And when I got into this one, I actually wasn't ready for it. But 3 days into it, and he says that I love you. And he says that, it's your call, whatever you want to do, but I do love you. And I was completely taken aback. But I think the fact that he was honest in that moment, and even though he was terrified of saying it, of terrified of rejection, and that he also gave me the space to say no in that moment, I feel that actually laid a very strong foundation to what we have today. So,
That
I mean,
is
what do you
honest,
also say
Connie.
about, yeah, also about emotional honesty when it comes to love, when it comes to saying, Michelle, I admire you so much. And I just don't say it because I have to, because you're coming here and you're our guest. But the fact that I actually do admire you. But I often find that a lot of us are not able to say it. So what does one do in that case?
Say it. Well, think about it. And this is what I wanted to share with you, because this is what brought this to my whole mind in the first place. Have you ever
Yeah.
been at a store or getting your hair done, and you don't even know the person next to you, and you start talking to them, and you tell them about your boyfriend, about work, you talk about your family,
Hmm.
you don't know them at all, and you're more open and honest in sharing with this stranger than you do with the people who are always with you.
Yeah.
That's what started this whole conversation. That's why I wanted to talk to Fuzia, because it's like the whole Fuzia group, because we are more honest with strangers. And then I started thinking that in my head. Why? Why do we sit
Hmm.
on a train or a bus or walking down the street and we bump into someone and we just tell them our whole life? Why? And
Yeah.
I thought, it's because we're not afraid of being hurt by them. We don't care if they disagree because we'll never see them again. So why is it when we have no retribution, no coming back to it, that we are braver? But when we're with
Hmm.
the people that really do need to know who we are, who really need to see the honest, true version of us, we put up our shield
Hmm.
like they're going to hurt us. We need to
Yeah.
turn that
That
around
makes sense.
because they're with us. They're the ones who are feeding our souls. So if we can be candid and honest with a stranger, all the more we must. It's what our world needs, for us to be
Hmm.
more honest and open with the people in our worlds. So like
Hmm.
with your partner who says I love you, he told you because that's what he truly felt. But if he followed the standard procedure of dating,
Yeah.
he would wait 6 months. But he already knew. Why waste time? Life is
Yeah.
too short to wonder and hold back. Because here's the thing about when you hold back with people that you care about, they can feel something's wrong. They don't know what
Hmm.
it is, but they can feel that you're holding back. And you've seen it in relationships where the other person will say, you don't care about me. There's something, you're hiding something. So, maybe you like someone else, you don't like me. And their inner critic, that voice in their head, says they're not good enough because they're reading something is being held back from you. And they start creating a story in their mind that diminishes
Hmm.
them. That is because we aren't being honest. So if we were able to say, you know, I'm very uncomfortable saying this because I really want to share it, but I don't know how you're going to take it. But I really care for you a lot. And they can say, thank you, and walk away. But at least they would know that feeling they're feeling is not
Yeah.
negative against them, it's a positive. But so often we hold back and they can read it. You can feel when someone's holding something back. So if you care, if you love someone, if you want to be in their world, your family, your everyone who's in your world that you care about, you must let them know that they matter to you. Now when you do that, when people know that you care for them and that you're honest with them, they're more open to share, or they're more open to trust you. They're more open to everything, right? When your
Yeah.
partner told you he
True.
loved you, it didn't make you feel bad, right? It made you re-examine yourself, right? And
Yeah.
when you did, you said, I can trust him. I can share more with him. You see? So
Yeah.
that's what relationships are about. We're all looking for someone or some people that we can trust and truly be ourselves. Look at your circle. If they can't handle the honest you, the nice honest you don't have to be slapping people in the face, but but the nice honest you, if they
Yeah.
if they will see the real you, if they stay, they're supposed to be in your world. If they walk away and say, you're too much for me, let them go. Better now than later, after you've
Yeah.
invested years in them. So that's why honesty is so important. We need people in our world that we can truly be ourselves, and it might as well be the people who are around you right now. Don't push them away. Share who you are and let them know how much you care.
Yeah, right. We also have a lovely compliment for you. Hiba here says she admires you a lot, and she also has a question. She says, how to truly know a person before maintaining a relationship with them? I mean, what are the personality aspects to focus on in order to know a person? Very valid question.
It's a very valid, but it's a very open question, because
Yeah,
that answer, it depends on you. What in your core value is important? So with me, so from my point of view, with relationships, I do a lot of emotional checks very quickly. I read people. So when I meet someone, like when I met you, Anjali, when I
yeah,
first met you, you said, are you okay if I tell jokes? I tell jokes all the time. I'm a little silly like that. And I said, of course, I love jokes. So I like
yay.
people with humor. Okay, so that's one of my first things. If you can't laugh at yourself, I don't want to be around you. Because if you're too serious, then you'll take me too serious, and I'm not always serious. So it's
Amen.
yeah. So it's different for everyone. So what for who asked that question? So whoever asked that question, I'm
Hiba.
sure there's more of you that are thinking the same thing. What quality in a person do you want? I like humor and I like music. I like people who smile, and when they talk, their voice is up and down and they're just animated. I
Yeah.
enjoy being around those kind of people. So that's the first thing I look for. So what's the first thing you look for? And that's what you want to look for in that quality. Now, getting to know someone, you start with that one quality and then ask more questions about them. Make it a two-way street. Ask them a question. Let them ask you a question. If they're quiet and they don't ask you a question, answer the question you gave them. Say, oh, well, that's your answer? Well, when I was, you answer for yourself. So you can learn about each other. Before you get into a deeper relationship, you want to know if that person will click with you. And remember, you've been enlightened. You're listening to me right now. They may not have heard this conversation, so they're also scared that you're going to hurt them. So they're hiding. And once you let them know that they can trust you and that you are honest with them and that you expect them to be honest with you, then that's when a relationship starts. A friendship. And it could be a friendship for years and years, or it can be a friendship just to elevate you to another level. Whatever it is, you enjoy that moment and you learn from it. You learn from each other.
Oh, I'm so overwhelmed right now. I'm going to take a moment.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's so true because sometimes you just have to, risk it. And like you said, for me, humor is also one of the checks. Music, definitely. And I feel along with all of this, I also look for vulnerability because I feel none of us are born without it. There is something about, I mean, that rawness about us which makes someone so special to be able to accept that we are flawed and that we are also going to be a mess many times. And that is so important to me because I feel that is also where strength lies. Not in just saying that, oh, I can take this. I've got this under control. Yes, you have. But if you're crying, that's also fine.
Yes. Well, one of the questions I ask people when I first meet them is, what major event happened in your life that changed you forever? And when they tell that story, I get people to tell me stories. When they tell that story, you get to learn a lot about them because you see how they overcame it, how they addressed it. When you're with someone you don't know and you want to learn more, ask them a story about resilience. What did they do? What changed them? And let them tell you a story. You'll learn a lot about them. And I
Yeah.
love to meet people who can smile through their pain and cry through it and not be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's amazing. I mean, I'll just give you an anecdote here. I've had a tough time with, dealing with depression, and I had this long phase where uh, I was in the dumps. I was somehow surviving every day. And what I did for a good part of the year was just keep it to myself. I lost my father, and I just thought, what is happening is just happening to me. And I also hid it from my mother. And in turn, what happened was that I was at a distance from someone who I loved so much. My mother knew that something was wrong, but because I also wanted to protect her, I knew that the relationship suffered. And when I opened up about it, I mean, I did not say that, when I opened up, I said it's not a catastrophe. I will get out of it. But I am a mess right now, and I need to sail through it, and I need your support. And for someone like my mother who has had not a lot of exposure to urban lifestyle for that matter, or even education, or even, the current mental health terminology, she was so open. She accepted me with open arms. If I would cry, she would sit with me, or she would just bring Bobo, and, know that, having the dog around and having someone around actually helps. And
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. And over time, I also wrote a lot about mental health and mental illness. And whoever I have shared it with has said that reading about it felt like a hug. Because whenever I write, I also write very raw. I say that I felt like the world was ending, or that something was swallowing me from the inside. And when someone says that they can relate to it, it feels like your work is done. You know
Exactly.
why you wrote this piece. You know why you said that I suffered, but that's not the end of the world. And you have had a similar experience. What do you think?
I agree. That's why I started writing. That's why I did a TED Talk. I mean, I did the things I did because I was hurting. I
Yeah.
was hurting, and I thought, we're all here on this planet for a reason. And no matter what we experience, it may be terrible for us. But if we can learn from it and share what we learned, we can save other people the grief of going through it themselves. And that's really what
Yeah.
my quest is to turn on the lights of other people in the world so they don't have to feel the pain I felt through as learning what I was learning. So,
Yeah.
yes, if you're going through pain, write it down, draw it out, paint it. I don't care how you express it, but get it out. If you look at musicians and singers and actresses, and actors, they do this kind of thing
Hmm.
in order to let things out of them. Bottling it
Yeah.
up just makes it all worse.
Hmm.
I'm glad that you do
Absolutely.
what you did.
I love doing it. It was so difficult because you also fear judgment. And, in a society like ours, the ideas of strength and weaknesses are so limited. Strength stands for, being emotionless, or just, being constantly in control of yourself without expressing enough. Whereas, weakness is associated with being sensitive or being emotional. But in my experience, it's the other way around. Or that there is so
The
much.
real world.
Yeah, I mean, nobody in the real world is emotionless. Everyone breaks down. And I feel this is especially important for men because it's so difficult for them to, even cry. And there are so many derogatory stereotypes associated with men being emotional.
Well, and that's men across the planet. Every
Yes,
every nationality, every culture says men no expression. You feel
absolutely.
nothing. Let the women do it, but no men can. No. In order for men to be able to relate to women, they need to have emotion. They can't stay stoic all the time because women,
Yeah,
we feed on emotion. We look at you and we do you love me? And if your eyes don't change, I don't believe you love me. Now, that's a problem in the male world because they're not allowed to express their feelings. And if you're a man and you're listening, be you. If you're going to cry, cry with someone who you trust and let them know, hey, I'm hurting right now. You don't need to give it to the world right now because a lot of them can't handle it. But find
yeah.
someone that you can trust, someone who's candid with you, honest with you, that you can be honest with them and say, hey, can I be me around you? Yeah, very important.
Yeah, true. But Michelle, a lot of candidness, a lot of candor, and being able to also accept your vulnerabilities, it doesn't come easy. So how does one start? How does one, for example, do self-work, do the affirmations to be able to take the first step towards honest communication? How to
I
do
say
that?
it often. It all
Yeah,
starts inside of you, and you need to understand you best. Our problem is so many of us, we try to find who we are from the outside in. Can't work that way. You need to get quiet. You need to learn how to meditate. You need yoga. I don't care. Whatever makes your mind quiet. With
yeah,
my practices, I wake up in the morning and I don't get out of bed. I wake up early and I'll stretch. And as I'm stretching in bed, I will tell my body, thank you for being able to stretch. Thank you for letting me wiggle my toes. Thank you for letting me wiggle my fingers. Thank you for, and I thank my body
yeah,
just for moving. And then
yeah,
I'll do my meditation, actually, while I'm still laying down, and I will project what my day is like. It'll be beautiful and wonderful. I'll touch people's lives. I project what I want out of the world. And then when I do get out of bed, I exercise. So I'll do a couple of push-ups, or I'll run in place, or I'll hop in place just to get the blood flowing in your body before I
yeah,
go get dressed so I can go work my real workout. So you have to appreciate who you are, how you work, and appreciate your mind for what it can do. And then
yeah,
be very
true.
self-reflective on yourself. What are you really good at? And don't let that inner critic in your mind. I wrote that book, it's not luck overcoming you, it's behind me. But to get through that inner critic that says, you're not good at anything. No, I am good. I woke up this morning. My best friend loves me. I just finished my paper. I wrote it. Whatever it is you've just accomplished, you need to remember the things you've done, because your
Yeah,
mind will play tricks with you and say, you're not good because that one thing happened. You did 55 other things very well. Just because one thing does not make you a failure. Get back up, fix it, and get back on it. That is where it all starts. It all starts in here, between your eyes. It's all you. And if you can be honest with you on how wonderful and beautiful you are, and then all the things that you do think are flaws that you need to fix, then fix them. It's all in our
true.
capability to fix it. It's all up to you. It's a choice. And once you're honest with you on how you can accomplish things and how you can change, or how you can accept you for who you are already, that's where honesty starts. It starts with you. Did I answer that question?
Yeah, you certainly did.
Okay.
It's amazing how whenever we are in a conversation, one question automatically leads to another one, and it opens so many avenues because, as I see it, all the sessions we have had and all the conversations that you and I have also had on the personal front, they are all interrelated. All of them have some keywords. There's honesty, there's authenticity, there's loving yourself, there's also recognizing what gifts you have. I mean, we are the generation of memes. We're millennials. So there's this really stupid meme that says, you realize the importance of breathing freely when you have a cold.
Exactly. You don't know what you're missing until you don't have it
Yeah,
anymore, right? What you're taking
yeah,
advantage of until you don't have it. Yeah. And that's
yeah.
why I'm so passionate about loving yourself, because I am 51 years old, and
What?
yeah, I spent most of my life hating who I am, hating my body, saying, oh, my nose is too big, my ears stick out. I was always beating myself up until I had my car accident in 2014. I couldn't speak and I couldn't walk. Suddenly, I missed my voice, the voice I thought was annoying. Suddenly, I missed that I could speak, the one I thought I talked too much. Then I missed my body that I hated so much because I couldn't move it anymore. It made me wake up to appreciate who I am and how I am. And that's why my goal as a speaker, as an inspirational speaker and a writer and a trainer, I do this because I know what we do. I know how we look at ourselves and beat ourselves up and don't appreciate who we are. It took me losing it all to realize how special each of us are. And the flaws we think are flaws are our gifts. It's what makes us special. Now in 2016, when I found out I had breast cancer, they gave me 3 months to live. So even more so, I realized if I don't live now and I don't let people know who I am, I'll die and my own children won't even know who I am. And that's when I became very exuberant about being honest and candid and live your life full and go find your dreams, because I only had 3 months to live. And when I finally became who I'm supposed to be, I'm still finding me. But
All of
as
us are.
as I'm still growing,
Yeah.
I realized I'm still alive. So I have to keep changing my goals, keep changing those dreams, because you grow into them and past them. So if you're listening right now and you're wondering, or you're complaining about who you are, or your eyes, your nose, your ears, your stomach, your butt, whatever it is, you are you. You're uniquely you. And you're made that way because you're supposed to be beautifully you. Find you. And if you don't like how your body works, fix it. Go work out. Go meditate. Do yoga. If you don't like how your mind works, study. Go get a certification. There's so many YouTubes that you can study whatever you want to study, from art to science to astrology, whatever it is. Improve you. And that's why I say be the best version of you. I'm not saying be someone else. Be the best version of you, and only you, because there is only one you.
Yeah. Um, that's absolutely true. But I would like to take a slight detour because
Okay.
I've been wanting to ask this question. Okay, so is there any other update on the robot film that you were doing? I
The movie comes out.
what?
It's official. The movie comes out on March 10. So it should be
Oh,
in, I don't know. Do you have Amazon Prime in
I do.
India? You do?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
It should be coming out on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
There's things
lovely.
called Redbox and Video on Demand. It's coming out March 10.
Oh my
Access
God.
denied. Yeah. And we're writing the next movie right now.
What are you saying?
Hmm?
And what is that about?
My computer voice. I say, I'm the computer that says access denied, access granted, altitude, pull up. I'm the computer.
Oh,
And then I'm also the television anchor right before the zombie attack.
I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I think you would make an excellent robot.
I'm an excellent robot. So the movie is called Jurassic Thunder. Jurassic Thunder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite
So keep
something.
an eye out. Yeah, March 10 it comes out in the US. So keep an eye out, because if it goes on Amazon Prime, you'll have access to it. But I don't know how it will distribute across the world. I just know it comes out March 10.
Oh, I have my fingers crossed. Okay, back to topic.
And it's a
I,
sci-fi
I was
movie.
just okay. Well, I'll watch it for sure, even if I have to travel to the US to watch it. Yeah. Now coming back to topic before anyone from Fuchsia team says, "What are you doing here?"
It's
Come
about
on,
being
Anjali.
candid. This is an honest opinion. This is an honest conversation. Your mind went to, oh, Michelle's a computer in a movie. Yeah? See, that's an honest conversation.
I will never get over it because you're so convincing as a computer.
And for those of you who have not heard my computer voice, it's thank you for calling Amazon support.
Amazing. Oh wow.
So back to
Okay,
being candid and honest
back.
in your conversations.
Yes, yes,
You have
yes.
to remember when you're talking to someone, you have to be willing to listen to them. You have to
Yeah.
listen, and if you don't understand what they're talking about, ask for clarification. And then if you have problems with that, with their clarification, it's okay to talk. It's okay to say, to question what they, and say, explain it to me so I understand. Being honest is being free to listen to the other person and be ready to give your opinion too. And if they don't want your opinion, be ready not to have your opinion listened to. And it's okay.
Yeah.
And then, decide if you want to go from there, and then go back, you learn, then go back to listening again.
Yeah. Since we're talking about this, for me, a rule of thumb is also whether I am reacting or I'm responding to something. So, for example, if it is a conversation that I'm feeling agitated, where I want to say, you know what, I'm going to kick your ass right now. So, I know I have to hold back.
Yes, you do.
I consciously hold back and I say, hold it. I will respond to you in a bit. Maybe I'll take a day. Maybe I'll take two. But there is a response coming from my end, and I don't want to say something that will hurt you or something that will actually close you from listening to me. But then I also know that there are times when I actually need to say it right there and then, because some things can be time sensitive. But I have to say right there and then, you know what, I think you need to stop doing this right now. Or or everyone is going to suffer. So, I mean, how does one figure out the difference? Because more often than not, I miss out on them, and I'm actually trying to work on it.
You've heard me say this quote before. It's from Byron Katie. There are 3 types of business or control in this world. There's my control, your control, and God's control, or the universe, right? So my
Okay.
control, the other person's control, God and the universe. And when I'm in a conversation and I'm in my mind, I'm doing, I think I have to put in my head, that's their opinion. And I appreciate that they are candid enough to tell me their opinion. But it's their opinion, it's not my opinion. And that kind of helps pull things back. You go, you know what? I appreciate, and you can say that, I appreciate you being so honest with me about your opinion. But I don't take that stance. My opinion, are you willing to hear mine? And they say, well, of course I'm ready. Okay, well, this is mine. And you breathe. You don't come out. You breathe and realize it's your opinion, and they don't have to agree with you either because you don't agree with them. And it helps take things down a couple of notches. And just like in an email, when you get upset when you get an email and you want to write back and you do, well, I'll write it, but I won't send it. The same thing with your conversation. If you get so heated, you've got to pull away and you know what? I'll have to get back with you because right now my mind is racing 1,000,000 miles a second, And then they'll say, well, maybe because you don't understand your blah, 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 blah. No, I understand my opinion. I want to come back to you with a rational response to your opinion, to give you a respectful answer. And really what you're doing is calming down so you don't jump on them, beat them up.
Oh,
So
God.
you have to pull back because when you attack in a higher voice or in a more aggressive tone, you're wasting your breath. The other person's not listening.
Yeah.
So think about
Oh
it.
my God, yes.
When they got you fired up, you stopped listening also. So that's where communication gets broken. That's why it's so important to step back and realize my control, the other person's control, God and the universe's. And let me step back and you know what? We need to meet for coffee or we need to meet for tea and talk about this again. Because I want to tell you my opinion right now and then we'll meet again. And that way you have a rational conversation. Because once you get emotional, no one's listening anymore. It's not even a conversation. It's you talking to yourself out loud and them talking to themselves out loud. Just useless. So
But
breathe. You can always hold yourself back. Remember, you can control yourself. You can't control them. And just like you built your opinion and it's very strong, they built their opinion and it's very strong.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm certainly remembering my conversations with my dog. Come on, Michelle, you know it.
I've had
I love it
conversations
so
with my
much.
dog during our live sessions. My dog is always asking to come up on my lap.
No, it is. I mean, this is a live session ritual that I mention my dog at least once. So you know that Bobo is a very, very naughty dog. So he's always doing something or the other. And one of my primary response to it is, no, don't do this. Stop. Yeah. And he goes like, it doesn't help. So I then I have now switched to a better way where I reward him, and otherwise I give him a timeout. So if he has, puked on the bed, or if he has done something horrible, I tell him, you know what? This is it. Go to the bed. Go to your room. Go under the bed. And he actually does. And then we come
Because
out.
he knows. Because he knows. You know why? Because dogs are very honest.
Yeah.
If you can have a conversation with a human like you can with a dog, because a dog is very honest. You say, who bit that? And the dog goes, and he looks around
Oh,
like,
yeah.
not me, but it's me. And you can see it on their face. And so that's what,
Oh my God, yes.
right? If a human did the same thing, did you talk about me the other day? No. And they're so honest in their eyes, they can't lie, right? So that's what this whole candid, honest conversation is about. Let people know what you really mean, but you do it with empathy or compassion, actually. I don't want to say empathy, because with empathy, you feel what they feel, and then you will get lost in that feeling. But with compassion, you can see where they're coming from. You can see why it's important to them, and you can help them through, or you can accept how they are without getting lost in their emotional state. So speak to someone honestly with compassion. Understand where you meet from them. You can feel people. Even when you meet them, you say, I don't really know you, but I really want to be honest with you. I told you that example at the beginning. We are better and more honest with strangers than we are with our people close to us. We need to change that. We need to be honest with the people around us. Keep the emotional state down, because people read. I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but when I teach my speaking courses, I talk about body language is very, very important. Out of 100% your communication, about 86% is just your body language. Okay?
I agree.
And then the next bit is your tone, your vocal tone. Only a small bit of communication are actually the words. So as humans, we are reading your body and hearing your voice before we hear what you say. So when you're talking to someone, and this is a game I play with my children, I will say, get down here right now and eat this cake. And they do, what? Because my voice is angry, but I'm telling them to eat cake. And well, I'm just doing an experiment. So now they know not to listen to my tone, listen to my words. And I've been doing that on purpose, because body language and tone will change an entire conversation from an argument to a debate. Debating is good. Arguing, not so good. Debating is controlled vocal tone, right? Right? They control their body, they stay very still, and they control their voice. Anjali, I disagree with you. I believe that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But an argument, Anjali, I disagree with you. Same words, different take, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to control you, understand you, control your body, control your vocal tone, and be honest so that they can hear you. Change that tone and they'll hear you. That doesn't mean that you're not being real, okay? That you're not being authentic. You're keeping your body language and your tone controlled so that the other person can hear you. That's important. Communication is key. And you can't control you until you know you, remember? Get to know the inside of between your eyes. And you can do anything. Yeah. Control that voice, control that tone, control that body. And then once you get to know them better, once you get through that conversation and you're on the other side to say, you know what? I wanted to scream at you because you didn't understand me. And they do, what? And you say, let me tell you what Michelle taught me. She told me that 86% is my body language, and about 10% is my vocal tone. So I've learned to control my voice and my body so that you could hear my words. You should try it too. And that way we can help other people communicate better. Communication is all body language, vocal tone. Very small percentage is your words. So if you want to communicate, if you want to be honest with people, control you, and then you can get your point across.
Absolutely. As a movement practitioner also, I completely agree with you
Oh, yeah.
because yeah, I mean, not just, body language, but also the way we learn to move around in space. That also reflects so much about how you're feeling. So, if your body language is slightly closed, it says something else. But, when you're open and when you have a certain authority, it's very, very visible. Similarly, how you move across a space, how you navigate a crowd, all of that speaks so much, and I say speaks, but speaking is usually associated with verbal communication. However, there is so much that the body speaks too.
Body speaks. I do a whole training on speaking
Yeah.
and connecting with audiences, no matter how big or small. It's all about your mindset. It's how you walk. It's how you stand. It's what's going on in your mind. So here's a quick little tidbit off topic. Well, no, not off topic, because it's still being honest. If you need to be in a situation and you feel fearful or you're unsure of yourself, put a song in your head. I've said it before. Put a song in your head that empowers you to whatever that situation is, and you'll be able to do it because it changes your body language. And I always, hopefully this mic doesn't hurt. When I go on stage, I'm actually quite an introvert. And so I go on big stages and I have to sing in my head in order to get the power pumped up in me to get on stage. And I usually sing a song, it's a Whitney Houston song. And in my head, I'm singing, I'm every woman, it's all in me. And I take the stage on now and everything is right. I mean, so I'm singing in my head and I walk with this stride and people do, wow, she is so commanding of that stage. Commanding of the stage doesn't start there. It starts here. Commanding of a conversation starts here. So think of a song that either brings you peace or makes you smile or whatever you need at that moment. And you'll be able to do it.
Yeah,
That's
I
communication and that's being
absolutely, I
honest.
do that too.
See?
I usually listen to reggae music because I'm also associated with the reggae scene in India. So and reggae music has really strong bass notes, so they flow
Mm-hmm.
through your gut. They're constantly like this. And even before this session, I actually listened to the music and I was like, you can do this because I'm also an introvert. Every time I socialize, I know I need to go back into a room and just be by myself, just to recharge. Just to have some time with myself, maybe with a book, or maybe just be. And and that is so important. I feel like that is something I've honestly realized about myself because I am so scared of the camera. I honestly am. I have checked myself out so many times before I actually came here. I mean, I think having you as my partner here has been one of the greatest blessings I could have because
Oh,
I see I've made progress in the last 3 months.
you
I have.
have. I remember from your first conversation with me.
I was so scared, and I'm so thankful to you. And I want to say it out loud before I forget or before I regret not saying it. Thank you.
Well, thank
Thank you
you.
for thank you
And
for
I'm
being so
honored. I'm
lovely.
honored that you wanted to be on with the last live session to be with me, because, but see,
Seriously.
that's what happens with honest conversation. You were so scared when you first met me that you were afraid to be on the live with me. You told me, Michelle, I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I said, don't worry about it. We're gonna have tea together. It'll be okay, right? And
Yeah.
now the open conversation we've had has opened
Yeah.
you to be more comfortable as yourself. You're smiling and you're laughing, you're telling jokes so easily. That's what happens in normal conversation when you're honest and candid. You knew that you can be honest and candid with me.
Yeah.
So think about what you can do in your own personal lives, everybody. If you can be honest and candid with the people in your world, they can be free to be who they are. Anjali's awesome, even though I torture her name every time I say it.
You can give me a nickname. People call me Ange. So if that works
Anjali,
for you. It's Anjali.
Anjali.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Yes, you said it right. You said it perfectly. And
Oh,
I'm open
really?
to new names. Yeah, yeah. And I'm also open to new names. I am looking for a pseudonym. So, I mean, people feel free to drop your suggestions.
My
I
middle
want to be
name is
one of those
Anne.
writers.
I want you to be Anne. I like your name, Anjali.
Okay, I'm
Anjali.
happy with it. Anjali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anjali.
You don't stretch the syllable. Yeah.
Well, no, my thing is, I probably am putting the Filipino accent on you, is what I'm doing.
I actually love
Anjali
it.
is Filipino, so Anjali.
So it
Anjali.
is my Filipino name. My Indian name
Yeah,
is Anjali.
Anjali. Anjali is Filipino.
I love it.
But see,
And
that's why it's so important to have honest and candid communication, because I was honest with you. You knew you could be honest with me. And when you knew you could be honest with me. You trusted our conversation. You trusted it. You accepted that I wouldn't hurt you in this call. You know, I wouldn't put you down. And I knew you wouldn't do the same for me. So put that in perspective in all your conversations. Who do you know that you can be honest and candid with? And then when you meet new people, say, you know, I would love to be honest and candid with you too. And then test it with little small things. And then you'll see, do they put up their guard, or do they open their shoulders, open up, and then their smile comes? You can read people to know when you can be completely honest with them. But be honest. It's best. That way you don't have to remember all the lies you've told, right? It's easier to be honest.
yeah,
It
completely.
makes life simpler. That way you don't have to say, what did I tell him? What did I tell her? Just be honest. You know what? I
Yep.
did this. Or
Yep.
when
It's
you
not.
when your friends say, let's go out tonight, and you say, oh no, I've got a paper to work on tonight, and you really don't, you just don't want to go out, say, I need me time. I don't want to go out. And they'll appreciate it, and they'll say, you know, he or she never wants to go out, and Michelle never wants to go out. And then people say, no, she said she wanted me time. Oh, right? It's better than telling a lie, because
Yeah.
you don't
What
want
will
to
you
hurt
show
someone's
for that
feeling.
paper?
Yeah. And then, you know, one person will say, well, she told me she's washing her hair. The other one will say, oh, she told me she was writing her paper. Oh, no, I wanted to be alone tonight. Period. It's
And
honest.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves it. Yeah.
Yes. Take time for
And
you.
with that, I'm afraid our time is also up.
It
Um,
is.
it is. Oh, I'm sad. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for being so candid, so honest. Also, putting up with and accepting us as we are. Because I feel we could not have had a better audience than all of you here. You've been loving. I know how many hearts we've been receiving while we are talking. So, I mean, everyone just comes in and they give you love, they say hello, and it's overwhelming. And I think wherever we go, wherever even I go beyond this, all of you who probably I will never meet, you're strangers to me for now, but you have been essential in making this such a special experience. Right, Michelle?
Yes, indeed.
And
And
I'm
for all of
so
you
grateful.
listening, I have to let you know my audio book of my TED Talk, it's an audio book. I narrated it.
Whoa.
It's on a program called Audible.
I have it. I have it.
Really?
I have it.
It's on
Yes.
Audible, right? And if you don't have Audible, right now it says, because it's a new audio book, if you go
Yeah.
and get Audible, it will give you my book for free. But you have to get the app. So just kind of keep that in mind. Eat, Drink, and Be Merry is an audiobook with my voice. It's really cool. It was exciting
Oh,
to
Michelle,
do.
we're getting in touch on WhatsApp after this.
Okay, I will get off.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for such a wonderful time. Thank you for being here. This is Anjali in conversation with my good friend, Michelle. And
Yes.
we're signing off for today. Please be in touch with us. If you want to speak to any of us, you can message us anytime on the Fuchsia World page. We would love to have more conversations with you. We would love to take, if you have any more questions, comments, experiences. We are here to listen because you have been such patient listeners with us. Thank you
Yes, and
so
I'll
much.
try to answer on page too.
Yeah, and you have a good night, good day, wherever you are. Lots of love. Bye bye. Bye, Michelle.
Bye-bye. Bye.